out strong with the rest of his senior season. So, uh, that's one of the things that I love about this sport is the accountability. You can't blame anybody else for your failings out there on that mat because it's just you and that other guy. And for some reason, Ryan's giving Dylan the stink eye. I think he's used that once or twice.
Yeah, like you're saying about the captains, the captains, it's not all glory, you kind of, the old saying is the captains go down with the ship. So if something bad happens, those are the first kids we're looking at.
Right.
What happened? You should be responsible. So.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a little closer to that, Mike.
Yeah, the captain, he's responsible for the team, and then, if something the team gets in trouble, then those are the first kids we're coming after to try to figure out what's going on.
That's right. And those are the kids that they've got a lot of weight on their shoulders because they've got to go out and wrestle their match, but at the same time, they've kind of got to go out and wrestle everybody else's match too because they're pushing those other kids to do their best and stay after it. Isabel was she was team captain in her senior year, and she was a very vocal captain. And I know right here on the radio it doesn't sound like it because she's just this sweet, but I promise you that's a front. She matter of fact, she punched my kid in the face once. So that leadership role that falls to those kids, and the pressure that it takes off of a coach, having somebody else there that can step up and say, hey, you guys are messing up. This is what we need to do. Or having somebody that can say, hey, this is how warm-ups are going to go. Let's get it. That's tremendous for a coach, as you guys obviously know.
One of the big things for us is when we've seen these the captains, especially when they're in the lower weight classes. With the middle school, they kind of just start at the bottom. And so if your younger kids are your captains and the team sees one of those kids come out and lose, that captain's got to, they got to compose themselves because the other kids aren't used to seeing them lose. So those guys got to be not only, they got to bounce back, they got to be motivators for the rest of the team because that sets the tone for the rest of the duel or the try, wherever you're at.
Yeah. So Brett, how's your depth chart looking? How many wrestle offs are happening in that wrestling room right now?
Yeah, we're kind of lucky on wrestle offs. We've got a couple weight classes that do have wrestle offs, but we're spread out. We got about 18 wrestlers right now for our roster, and maybe 3 or 4 of those weights we've got wrestle offs. But the good thing is we got the weight class above them that's open. So the way we're going to do it this year, the way we did, me and Ryan did it last year, is if that one kid wins the wrestle off, he stays at that weight class, and the other one, we either bump them up, or then if they don't feel comfortable bumping up either a 10-pound weight difference or a 5-pound weight difference, then they'll just try to wrestle in an expo match.
Right. And, sometimes it's really hard to find those expo matches. But whenever you wrestle a big school, they usually have a pretty good depth chart to where you can get a couple expos. But I know last year I went with the high school to Southwestern Classic, the Southwestern Invitational Classic. And we had a kid that didn't make weight. He was a little heavy, and so he couldn't wrestle that weight class. But there was the chance that he could pick up because that Southwestern Classic is huge. There's a lot of schools there, and there's always a kid floating around that you could pick up an expo with. But to his credit, Coach Andy told me, he's like, this kid knew what his weight class, what his weight needed to be. He missed it by ounces. I don't know that he deserves an expo, and that that accountability. That's one thing that I've always preached is personal accountability, and for him to say, that maybe this kid really doesn't deserve to wrestle this week, I've got to respect that. And every coach has got their own opinion of that, but that's one of those things that I kind of respect it. I didn't expect that answer, by no means, but I had to respect his opinion on that. So what big tournaments are you guys looking forward to, or what are you guys? I mean, at the middle school level, there's like SWIC,
SIWC. Yeah, that's our big one that most of the kids will push for is that SIWC. There's a couple other ones, the Scottsburg Rumble and the Madison Rumble.
Yeah.
Those are two big ones, but the big one for them is SIWC. That's kind of like our sectional and our semi-state and our state all wrapped into one. We have some 8th graders that coming back for fire from last year. They didn't place as high as they thought they should have. The other kid either beat them on something small or they just didn't want it enough. And I think a lot of my 8th graders this year has got some drive. There's some 6th graders that want to make a name for themselves, so we'll see if they can do that this year at SIWC. But we're bouncing on a couple things this year. Me and Ryan's going to try to take a couple kids to a middle school state, which is a paid event that they've got to actually buy an ISWA card for, kind of like we do on the youth stuff. And that's going to get them a complete different look at from just normal, people down here in the Floyd County, the Madison area. That's going to get them to see some really big competition up around Indianapolis, which will help them grow as a wrestler, especially if they choose to continue wrestling up in high school.
Right. Well, guys, let's take a quick commercial break before we get into some of this youth stuff. And before we, I've got some things I wanted to ask and get some things going here. But we're going to take a quick commercial break and get some love to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Wouldn't it be great to find a dealer that puts their customer satisfaction over their profits? Well, you have. Eddie Gilstrap Motors in Salem, Indiana has been your hometown Ford dealership for over 80 years. No hassle, no pressure, and ranked in the top 6% nationwide for customer service. Specializing in Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Eddie Gilstrap Motors is your one-stop shop for your sales, service, and auto body repair needs. Visit us today at EddieGilstrapMotors.com or come see us at 207 South Main Street, downtown Salem, Indiana. Stevie Motzinger here with Eddie Gilstrap Motors, cheering on the red, white, and blue. Go Senators!
This is Becky White from WSLM. I'm here at the beautiful John Jones showroom in Salem, Indiana for the John Jones Auto Minute.
Hello there, Jalen Hoare here at John Jones in Salem, Indiana. Winter is here, as well as a bunch of Chevrolet trucks. We've got incoming 21 and 22 model Silverados. Come check out our inventory at 1450 South State Road 60. Pick out the truck that works best for you and your family, or check out our inventory online at johnjonesautogroup.com. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at 877-473-5546. And from Jalen Hoare over at John Jones, happy holidays.
At John Jones GM City, you see so many because they paid so little.
See Celebrity Home Loans in Salem, where everyone gets treated like a star. Come experience the star treatment with us. You'll never go back to the ordinary home loan experience again. Stop in today and see Dennis Baxter, branch manager of the Salem office, to start working on a new home loan or refinancing today. They've served nearly 50,000 families with over $15 billion in loans. Stop in and see Dennis and his staff. They're ready to work with you today. As a star, you expect the best, and that's all Celebrity Home Loans has to offer. Nothing off the rack. We're talking fine living, designer fashion home loans around here. Come by today and see Dennis or Autumn at 18 Public Square, Suite A, or call for an appointment. 812-883-0670. Remember, at Celebrity Home Loans, you're the star.
Hi, I'm Justin Green, Mayor of the City of Salem. Go Salem Lions! If you're planning that bonfire during or after the football game this fall, please use caution. I want to remind you to be safe around your bonfires and avoid starting any fires during extremely dry conditions. Also, I want to remind you that only fires you can have in the City of Salem limits should be no bigger than a 3-foot square area and 3 foot high. Burning brush and leaves in the city limits is prohibited. Just like the Salem Lions, we're proud of the hard work our firefighters do at the City of Salem Fire Department. If you have any questions, please give our fire department a call at 812-883-4970. Thanks.
At American Family Insurance, we know your life has many moving parts, from your 4 wheels to your hard-earned home and the financial future of your family. We'll cover the things that matter most. Bundle your home and auto policies for possible savings and add life insurance for convenient, future-focused protection so you can keep dreaming towards what's next. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies. American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
For details, contact Rodney Bruff, agent at Rodney S. Bruff Agency Incorporated. Call 812-277-1400 or stop by 1528 L Street in Bedford today.
Keep playing.
All right, we are back. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties. So one thing that I wanted to get into tonight was our youth program. Curtis Walters has taken over the spot there, and just like with our football program, you've got to start this from the ground up. We have such a hard time filling out a team. We have enough students to do so, but we have a hard time filling out a team because it's just not something that's really pushed like football or basketball is, or even baseball in this county. So having that youth program, and it's we're going pretty strong. It's about 10 years now that Salem Wrestling Club's been going on. My son was in the inaugural year, and I helped coach that a little bit. It was such a undertaking to get that started, but it seems like it hasn't done anything but gain steam ever since. Every year we seem to have a bigger and bigger team. Now last year, and this year we've got all the COVID stuff going on, and it's there's that puts a dent in it, and we're going to be talking about this for a while, and we've just got to find ways to get around it, and whatever we've got to do to be able to get the season in and make this sport happen. That's what we're going to have to do. So, Curtis, what kind of hoops are you having to jump through right now with the whole COVID thing?
Actually, nothing right now as far as COVID.
Everything's clear.
Yeah, everything's fine. There's no big hesitation like we had last season. There's no huge worry from parents and things like that. I think it probably boils down to people just want to get out of their house.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of fever for the last year and a half or so. I think people just want to get out. So with that being said, and you mentioned it earlier, COVID hurt us bad last season. We had three, 4, 5 kids consistently show up all season, right? So far this year, we've got 46.
Nice.
That are on the team, whether they're going with their ISWA card to do full time or they're just on the team for like the friendly meets with the local schools around the area. But either way, it's the biggest team we've put out so far.
So whenever we did the Mayhem, which is the county rivalry meet, the last time, whenever me and Mark were coaching the high school, we had the youth kids come in and do that, and that was tremendous. That was I talked to Tank a little bit about this 2 weeks ago, and that was their first season as a club, and he told me that he's got 40-something kids in the wrestling room right now. So to see that much growth and that much interest, and that's amazing. And are you guys planning on having the youth kids there at Mayhem this year, or is that how that's going to work out?
That's that we want to. To us, there's no reason to not,
right?
Because it has been a thing for a few years now, where we try to get all 3 of the wrestling organizations from youth, middle school, and the varsity level to all just compete and put out, and then high schools be like the culminating event for the night and lights down, spotlights on, stuff like that.
Yeah, the boys in the varsity squad are trying to get them to let them do ring entrance music. So
put the robes back on.
I just want to say that we won the county Mayhem last year. We'll do it again.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. I'll have to answer to that for next time I talk to Tank. But how is that youth program looking? And my big question is how many of those football kids showed up?
Not as much as I was hoping for.
Yeah. You always hope for a big turnout from the football crowd because the physicality of wrestling and football go hand in hand.
Oh, hand in a glove. I mean, the footwork's almost the same. The handworks are almost the same. Using leverage and the physics of moving another body against their will.
Hands on it.
Yeah. It's the same mentality, that aggressive, let's
or
get at it
or chick
mentality, or chicktality, however you want to call it. So if I had one wish, it'd be every single one of the kids who play youth football would be wrestling.
Right.
And I understand that's not realistic.
Right, because you're going to have some of those kids, and it's almost like certain kids that play certain positions in football, they need to wrestle, and some of them probably need to play basketball. It's just the way their body is made. The way their physique is. they should probably, some of your wide receivers are, they need to be basketball players.
Right.
But your linemen, your D linemen especially,
Wrestle.
need to be in that wrestling room. They need to be on those mats. And, that's something I've always felt pretty strongly about. And from what I understand, Mr. Acton was a big fan because he used to be a head football coach. And he was a big proponent of having those football players in that wrestling room.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I talked to Mr. Calhoun a couple weeks ago at Mr. Smith's memorial,
Right.
and we were talking about that, and he was 100% in the same boat because he used to coach football or help coach, assistant coach,
Right.
Back in the day, and he was saying the same exact thing. Certain positions need to be wrestling.
That's right.
And it's the linemen, it's the linebackers, those running backs, maybe.
Oh no, definitely.
But there's no reason not to.
Right.
Right.
For years we fought with that stigma of the singlet. And that is probably the number one reason that a kid says that he don't want to wrestle. Some of them just don't want to get manhandled, and I get it. Go play basketball.
That's right. Because you don't play wrestling.
Right.
That's
That's
the thing.
the thing. It's an individual. You can't have that weak mindset that, I don't want to get, have a guy out here putting his hands on me. There's a way to stop that. Go out there and pin that kid.
Yeah.
Don't mess around with him. But the thing about that is whenever you're an individual out there and you're giving 100% of that heart and effort, at the end of the day, that glory's all yours.
Yeah.
And a little bit of your coach. Your coach gets to live in that a little bit, and tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
And that's the thing about being a wrestling coach. You don't get that same spotlight. That's the word I'm looking for. You don't get the same spotlight, and you're not center stage like the wrestlers are.
You shouldn't be.
Right, and that's what I love about the sport is that you've got to be that individual that goes out there and puts everything on the mat every time, and you got nobody to blame but yourself. Mm-hmm. How many times have we said we've given you the tools? Don't leave your toolbox out here on the side of the ring. Many times. Or don't go out there and try to throw your entire toolbox at them, and then what are you doing now? There's many times we've seen wrestlers get out there and they'll try every move in the book in the first minute of the first period, and then they're just gassed, don't know what to do next, and they're not looking at their corner anymore.
Wrestle under control.
So that's the thing. You've got to wrestle under control, and you've got to wrestle your match. So with all the youth stuff, are you guys working towards the same goal with Coach Andy at the varsity? Are you guys kind of coaching the same type of program, or are you guys just doing basic level stuff and working your way up?
So we've had success with this a couple years ago. It was pre-COVID era, where the club was so big we couldn't really have a productive and efficient practice. It was chaos.
Right.
You have 40 kids in a room. It's like herding cats.
And one mat.
All right.
Not
it's
even
crazy.
a full mat.
Yeah, it's just out of hand. So we split the club up, and we started that this week again. So what we do is we take the lesser experienced kids, not the worst kids or the bad kids.
Right.
The kids that aren't.
Right. You're always going to
It's just a
have
matter
kids
of
that just aren't.
Right.
They haven't had the mat experience.
Right. It's just a matter of experience level. So we'll take the kids who are 2 years or less in the programs, and we'll have them on one night, and then another night throughout the week, kids who have been in the program for 2 years or more, and they'll be there. So the kids who have less than 2 years of experience, those are the guys working on your stance, working on your sprawl, working on your single leg, working on a half, and just the very basic kind of rudimentary of wrestling. The kids on the other night of the week, those are the guys where we're pushing them a lot harder than we do the lesser experienced kids, and we're teaching them a little bit more complex, more complicated techniques while on the
Got a little
mat.
spook there, Curtis.
Yeah, hey, what's going on here? Somebody trying to break in. Probably some basketball players.
What y'all say about basketball?
But we teach them the more complicated, more complex moves that they would have to have, given their age, their weight, and their experience level going into these big weekend tournaments that we take the club to. Because I'm telling you, if you've never been to one of these youth tournaments that we take this club to, there's hammers that go to these things.
Yeah. Well, then
Absolute monsters.
we took the varsity team during the summer over to Ohio a couple years back to the Jeff Jordan State Champ Camp, and they brought in some of their middle school hammers, and they were whooping our varsity.
Yeah.
We had a junior, Jalen Smith. I'm sorry, Jalen Stevens. He wrestled. That kid was a seventh grader, wasn't he? And he was this little dude, but he walked all over Jalen. We made memes to send to Jalen, and we he's like, he would come to the side and be like, "That dude fireman carried me," and I was like, "He's 5." He's like, "I don't care, he did it." So we started calling that kid the fireman, and every time we got a chance, we'd send Jalen a new meme about it, and but they also had a seventh grader that was 170 pounds and looked like he was a senior in high school, and he was an absolute hammer.
Yeah.
And, he, some of the coaches would walk around, Mickey Jordan, he would walk around and be like, "Hey, why don't you go with one of the hammers?" And our guys would be like, "Man."
I'm ready to roll with you, coach.
So, some of those younger kids, like, in those tournaments, are absolutely studs.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, hands down. They're just monsters out there. They're just devour of the kid that's on the mat. It's really exciting to watch.
Yeah,
those top tier kids wrestle.
A few years ago, I got the opportunity to come up and take over your spot because you and Brett were both the drill.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Mark came up to Diesel City to coach, and man, I had actually we brought little Nate with us too.
Yeah.
He got to coach Dylan in one of the best matches I've ever seen.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean it came down to you ended up losing that very slimly, didn't you?
By 1 point.
By 1 point, and man, it was one of the most exciting and tough matches I ever seen. That little kid right there left everything out on the mat, and Nate as a sophomore, I think he was a sophomore in high school at the time. As a sophomore, coaching his heart out there, he was just as involved as we would have been, and by the time it was over, everybody was drained on that one.
Yeah.
That was also the meet that I thought I was going to have to subdue a Sasquatch because of a bad call by a referee on Gavin. That was I had to turn around and tell him, "Shut up." Yeah, he was up top, and I thought he was going to come jumping off of the bleachers. But that's just how excited and how intense the sport is. So it really goes to show you the heart and the level of physicality that everybody puts into this. Even the coaches, we're not doing anything but standing on the side there and screaming at you. But at the end of the day, we are absolutely drained.
Oh yeah, pounding headache, about half hour into it, and you're just exhausted by the end of it.
Walking around looking for your blood pressure medicine, clutching your chest. It's the big one. Those are the best days, and you know what? Especially those youth tournaments. You show up at 8 a.m. and you are going until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. And by the time you get home, you're like, "Nope, I ain't never doing this again. The heck with wrestling." And then
Tuesday comes
And Brett puts out, "We got to meet next week."
Yeah, and then like you said, Tuesday night we're back on the mat and we're ready to go, and the love is right back there, But that, like I said, that being able to have that kind of physicality, because you watch youth sports, youth football, especially lower levels than what we coach. I did the youth. I did the flag football league for a couple years as the director for that, and watching those guys get out there, and it's like herding cats. You're just trying to push them the right direction,
Right.
And after that, you watch the youth football league, and there's a little more intensity there. Then it gets to middle school and it starts to kick up a little bit. But with wrestling, it is all go all the time right now. We've got 4-year-olds in club that are just throwing down and just monsters, And what was what's his name? The Jack.
Yeah, the Bowers kids. Are
The
out
Bowers
there,
kid.
Lane in them, and then Connor.
Connor. That's the one I was.
Brother,
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Those kids, watching them wrestle, they're just ready to get out there and tear it up.
That was the COVID year that we were on. I mean, the club itself was on a freight train. We're placing top 5 at meets that, this got Jasper and all these.
Right.
And then all we had was state left, and we had about 30 kids that were going to go to state, and there was a good chance about 12 that were going to podium, and then COVID got, right in the middle of everything. And
it was right after.
it was
like,
right in
2
March
weeks a
there.
week?
It was right there in March, and they tried to even reschedule because Indianapolis didn't want to host it with the COVID, and they tried to reschedule. And then all the parents are trying to make more plans to go to the new place with hotels, and then they finally ended up shutting it down. So that was kind of like a big. I think that had an effect on a lot of people for last year not wanting to really commit to the club because, like I said, that took a lot of wind out of sails.
Yeah.
The club was on a freight train.
Yeah, and it almost feels like everybody's getting a do-over this year. Like you're starting fresh, same kids, but you've had downtime, and you're getting some more kids involved. And to be able to say that you're in the 40s with your numbers, that really goes to show how much once you've gotten a taste of this sport, it's in your blood.
Well, here's the number for you, Nate. So between youth, middle school,
you guys
and high
like how
school,
you did that. Here you go, Nate.
the number between youth, middle school, and high school is right at 100 kids.
Right.
And Salem Wrestling has never had that before. Has never had 100 kids involved from 4 years up to 12th grade. It's just one of those things where it's just a testament. Things are finally.
They're just back there saying your numbers are fuzzy, but
No, it's right at 100.
Yeah, these are brothers
But-
here. We may end up with a wrestling match right now.
All red like all.
Curtis is going to lose.
No, you won't. No, you won't. You got the screwdriver.
So we talked about the last time we had the county meet.
Yeah.
And you wrestled.
Are we going to
Tank.
bring this up?
Oh yeah,
Are we gonna bring this
you
up
and
right
your Mr. America singlet.
Oh,
Tank's just in his sweatpants and ready to go. And
He had blue jeans on. I'll give him a little more.
well, that's
credit
even
for
worse.
I know.
And he carried you like a baby across that mat.
No, he had me on his
Yes, he did.
shoulder like a
Right.
grown man.
Like a
He did not.
grown
He did not
man.
coddle me like a baby.
It's an embarrassment. honestly.
It was embarrassing. It's like, this is our youth coach here. What's he doing on this man's shoulders?
I could take this. I could take this because Dennis was a state qualifier.
Oh yeah.
And we're up there a little bit in age now, and he's still just as fast
Yes,
as he was
is.
when he was a senior.
Yes, he is.
Like wrestling, like he was right in front of me, and then he wasn't, and I didn't know what was going on. Like I was floating in the air, like this is hi, how are you all? Like I just started waving, like this is ridiculous.
You knew I had to bring that up.
I know. Always have
I got a video somewhere.
Yeah, there is a video. There is a video. Oh, so not only do we go hard with this sport, but we have a good time with it, and it is a family. It's a continuation of that football family that we talk about. Your wrestling family and your mat moms. Your mat moms are the most vicious animal on this planet. You do not mess with a mat mom's baby because they will be on that mat. Matter of fact, we were talking about doing a fundraiser at one point where we're gonna have the Matt Moms wrestle.
A couple of years ago.
You know, and I really wish somebody would still put that together because I think that would be awesome. You know, yeah, you know, because and then they were going to have their own kid coach them. So it was one of those things where you get to kind of change roles there.
Yeah.
You know, and there, I will say though, as a coach, it is the most frustrating thing in the world to have your own kid in the wrestling room with you, because you're always wrong. You know, whatever you tell them. Am I right, Braden? Get in here. Come here, Braden. Dad's always wrong, right?
No.
No. Now it's no.
This one's gonna say yes. That's the
Dylan.
problem.
Well, sometimes he's always wrong, but most of the time he is.
So these are two of our sixth grade wrestlers. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Sixth grade?
Eighth grade.
I'm the size of his.
Well,
he's the size of a sixth grader,
He is
but
the size of a
he's an
sixth
eighth
grader.
grader somehow.
But Rich. So how do you guys, Dylan, you first? How do you feel whenever you walk out on that mat? What's in your mind? What's going through your head? What's your plan?
I feel like I have my game plan in my head before I get onto the mat. And when I shake the guy's hand, I do what I need to do to win that match.
So what you're saying is you go out there with your game plan, you shake hands, and you forget everything, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Because I know I've been there.
Everybody's got a plan.
That's right. That's right. And then violence of action changes. I don't know if you guys heard that, but Brett said everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. So that's one of those things that if you can keep your focus, you do better. And if you can keep your breath in you for that long, you're going to go farther than anybody else, and you're going to be the one at the end of the day. So Braden, talk to me a little bit about your conditioning. How intense is your conditioning?
My conditioning,
Be very careful.
It's really shut up. It's really intense. We really just run a lot when we're not listening. A lot of the stuff we do.
So you run a whole lot.
Yeah, we run a whole lot, all the time, like every 24/7. Like it's crazy. No. We just drill, just basic moves, and then when we're not listening, which is really
most of the time,
yeah. We just do like what's it called? Suicides. Yeah. Suicides. Or we run laps.
Yeah. Are there medicine balls involved?
Yeah.
Then you don't know nothing yet, do they? Is.
Or like wall sits. Or like the iron chairs, or like when we do lunges across the track the whole entire time. It's so bad.
So what was it we always looked for in the summer practices? We had a puker, a quitter, and a crier. You always have those. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to be back with a little bit of motivation.
Keep working. Keep going. And keep moving with the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region. It's no wonder most people choose Baptist to help them keep on. Keeping on. Visit baptisthealth.com/ortho to find a Baptist Health provider.
Let's get on our feet and give a big hand to the starting lineup at McDonald's here in Salem. The quarter pounder is coming on the field. Filet of fish and those golden delicious fries are warming up on the sidelines. And now for the feature star of the night, the Big Mac. You'll score every time with a hot, fresh meal from McDonald's in Salem, whether you're there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Take a time out and stop by before or after the big game to check out their all-day breakfast menu or value menu. Download the McDonald's app and you can get great deals on delicious tastes all day long, including buy 5 McCafe drinks and get one free. You'll score every time with the wife and kids when you make a touchdown at the Golden Arches right here in Salem. We're here at McDonald's Gymnasium for tonight's game. It's time to introduce the starting lineup, and the crowd is on their feet and they're going wild. And here comes the new players. We've got the premium quarter pounders coming in tonight, alongside the chicken classic sandwiches. Playing forward tonight, we have got one-of-a-kind McWrap. Guarding your hunger, it looks like we've got McDouble and McChicken coming in. And starting in the center court tonight will be Big Mac. Look on the sidelines, folks. We have Chicken McNuggets cheering tonight alongside those golden delicious fries. Hot and always ready. You'll score points every time you bring the family into Salem McDonald's, right here on Main Street, before or after the game. Don't forget to top off your favorite meal with a cold soft drink, that famous Mickey D sweet tea, or something from their full line of smoothies and McCafe coffee drinks. Order inside from 4 a.m. to 11, or get that one-of-a-kind taste 24 hours at the drive-thru. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
If you're searching for a career, GKN can provide an opportunity for you. GKN Powder Metal in Salem, Indiana is your full metal shapes solutions provider. GKN is currently recruiting for CNC operators for 12-shift schedules, which is 3 days one week and 4 days the following week. You may apply in person Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. Starting wage is $18.45 up to $24.75 based on experience, plus 60 cents per shift premium for night shift and a full range of competitive benefits. Competitive wages and medical, dental, and vision insurance. Life insurance optional. Free short, long-term disability. Free life accident insurance, plus 401k savings plans with company match. Shaping powder metal into high performance and high precision components. GKN provides leading powder metal expertise and process experience to transform ideas into production. GKN is an equal opportunity employer.
Whenever the forecast is nice, you're probably thinking about enjoying the great outdoors. Whether that means doing some four-wheeling or hitting the road in an RV, First Harrison Bank can help make your dreams a reality with a loan designed to meet your needs. Talk with one of our associates about our options for RV, boat, and camper financing. If you're looking for a great auto loan, we can help with that too. To get started, just visit us at firstharrison.com. Keep it easy, keep it local. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good coverage doesn't have to cost more. If Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance insures both your vehicle and your home or farm, you could save 18% on your auto policy premium and 20% on your homeowners or farm owners policy premiums. Own a motorcycle? Earn 18% on that premium with a qualifying auto and save an extra 5% on your auto with a personal or umbrella policy. Want to know how to save? Call Jason Pepmeyer, your Washington County agent, at 812-883-2995 or visit infarmbureau.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So tonight's motivation is going to come from Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill has a lot of fantastic quotes that I could have picked from. One of so is only 5 words: never, never, never give up. And that was a commencement speech that he gave at a college, at a university one time. And just that level of simplicity, but the meaning of that, really could say volumes. But what I chose tonight is this: success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And in this sport, in wrestling, that couldn't be more true. Because if you go out there and just get whooped on by a kid, there's that chance that you could just say, you know what, I'm done. I don't ever want to have that experience again. That kid kicked my butt all over the mat, and you could walk away from it and never get back into it. But it's having the tenacity and the courage to get back on that mat and, take on the next kid, and then the next kid, and then the next kid. That's the only way that you'll ever succeed in wrestling and in life. If you lay down and just take a beating and not ever get back up and get back into it, life is going to kick you down. And, life is a bully. Wherever it can, it's going to punch you. And if you can't maneuver around that or figure out how to shut that bully down, you're going to have a hard time with life. So my advice, and the reason I picked this motivation is this: stand up for what you believe in. Go as hard as you possibly can. If you want something, you cannot quit until you have it. So whether that be in life, whether that be in sports, whether that be in your professional life. You have got to keep that focused. I'm almost getting a standing ovation over here. There. I feel like every one of y'all are smelling what the Rock is cooking right now. So I had to throw a little wrestling in with the wrestling. You see that?
Oh yeah.
So these guys right here can attest to it as much as anything. We may not be that kid on the mat anymore, but we are the kid. We are the person pushing that kid. We are the force behind them, giving them that motivation. And some of these guys standing here right now have touched more kids in a positive way, their hearts and their lives. And these idiots are laughing at me because I probably should have phrased it a little better. That's what I get for bringing you idiots in here with me.
Don't worry, a formal investigation will not be called.
One of them is a state trooper, so we're good. Anyhow, but that's also the guys that are back here, pushing your kid towards the mat. These are the support system back here. They got sense of humor too. But being able to have a kid come up to you year after year and be like, what, Coach, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for pushing me. And some of these guys haven't been coaching youth sports as long as I have, and they haven't had their first high school senior walk up to them and say, hey, remember way back in third grade, whenever you told me this or you told me that, or you believed in me? Nothing will bring a tear to a grown man's eye quicker than something like that. And this is this year with football was my second opportunity to have some of that. And whenever those kids that you still look at them as that third grader walk up to you and they're a full grown man and getting ready to go off into the world and do their thing, there is nothing more heartwarming than that. And I can't wait to see. Are you crying again, Curtis? Listen, if Chris was here, he'd be crying.
Listen and crying.
And listen, Trevor Smedley is sitting somewhere crying right now. I promise. But I can't wait to see whenever you guys get that first senior. I only got to coach Izzy 2 years, and at her first year, I didn't want her to come back the second year. She drove me insane. But the second year she came back, that little girl stole my heart, and she became a beautiful, strong, strong-minded woman that was going out there and whooping all the boys, and now she's an MP in the U.S. Army. Look at that.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, just like
So Izzy, I wanted to thank you for coming back and coaching with these guys. You guys, I'm so proud of you guys for what you've done with the middle school, the club. You guys took the reins there and made things. You are making those kids that are going to be those varsity studs, and I'm super proud of you guys for that. So I wanted to thank you guys for coming in and helping us out tonight. And I had a good time with you guys. I really wish Squatch would have been here with us. If we'd have got Chris in here.
Could he fit?
He might not have fit. He might not have fit, but
We just put him over in the corner.
you don't put baby in the corner.
Oh,
Come on now.
You gotta pick him up.
I hope he's listening right now. I know he was having some water leak issues, but I hope he was.
It's gonna pick him up like
Yeah.
10.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do the lift. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're gonna wrap this up tonight. Like I said, these guys here are, they're some of my best friends, and they are some of the greatest coaches I've ever coached with. And I can't wait to see what they produce over the next few years inside the wrestling community. Biggest thing that I wanted to say to you guys out there listening is put your butts in those seats. Go watch a wrestling meet. Whenever they're at home, go see them. If you've got a grandkid that's out there wrestling, go travel with them. Go see that. You will never see a more intense and more physical, fun sport in your life than whenever you walk in and watch that first wrestling meet. You know, it was not even on my radar whenever they started the wrestling club when my son was in third grade. But that first time I watched him get out on the mat and really give his all, I was hooked. You know, and wrestling doesn't get the same the same look, the same what's the word I'm looking for? The recognition that, you know, we don't have the fan base that, you know, football, basketball, baseball, any of that really does. And it's a shame because you just don't know what you're missing out on. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I will be back next Wednesday, same time, 7 o'clock, right here on WSLM 1220 AM and 97.9 FM. And we're gonna do basketball next week. I'm sorry, it was all so, you know, make sure you tune in. And we meant to have a call-in session tonight, but these guys got big mouths and they talk a lot. Why y'all looking at me like that's me? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you right here next week, 7 o'clock. Good night.
Wait, these are on, right? Or is it just yours?
Be sure and set your dials to WSLM 97.9 FM and 1220 AM next week for Coach's Corner, live brought to you in part by Salem McDonald's, to get a front row seat into local high school sports with your coaches from Eastern, Salem, and West Washington. Your host, Nate Pierce, will be back next week with more from the Eastern, Salem, and West Washington sports.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the minute you walk into Salem Crossing. Experts in long-term care, not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers and solutions and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Salem Crossing, visit ASCSSeniorCare.com or call 812-883-1877. That's 812-883-1877.
After a joint surgery, injury, or illness, Meadowview and Salem Crossing are the best choices for helping you recover. Our Moving Forward Rehabilitation Program offers a full range of therapies. We're here to help you return home safely with the skills you need to live life on your own terms. Meadowview and Salem Crossing, two great options for your rehabilitation. To learn more, visit ASCCare.com or call 888-996-8272.
All right, Greg, get feeling better.
A little salt and a lime with you. Say, fireman, will you bring us to? I want to kill a little time with you. Talking it all out, see what you're all about. I want you to kill a little time with me.